Let's do some politics now. And flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, is alerting the Electoral Commission of the party's readiness to fight back electoral malpractices in the 2024 election. He claims the EC is in a potential tangent to manipulate outcomes of the general elections. According to John Mahama, the Commission's new Ghana Card Identification Directive will deprive some Ghanaians of their right to vote. Clinton Yeboah has more in the following report. Sorry for the technical challenge. That will bring you details for that particular story later on. But as we speak now, the party is in the Assin North constituency where they are organizing a Thanksgiving rally to thank the electorate for voting for their candidate, James Jachi Kwesin, to be the Member of Parliament for the constituency. Let's take you there live now. So let's take you to the constituency where we're being joined by the Deputy National Organizer of the party, Elikem Kotoko, joining us via Zoom. Now, grateful to you, sir, for joining us. So as we speak now, what has been happening since the party got into the constituency? Elikem, kindly unmute so we can follow what you're telling us.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers. Our sincere commiserations to the families of those who lost their beloved, and also to those who were injured. And also, I would like to use this opportunity to also extend a word of caution to those out there to be careful of the rains. It's come, and it can take lives if we are not careful, so we should tread cautiously. When it comes to Assin North, it's a whole weekend program we have had.
Okay.
If you permit me, since Friday, we've had engagements where we had the Muslim prayers in Breku Central Mosque. And then Saturday, we also had the Thanksgiving church service at the SDA Church and the Savior Church, all in Breku. Then we also have a visitation of the injured at Assin, where you are aware that some 26 party members of ours were injured and they sustained various degrees of injury. One required urgent surgery. We lost one life also in that. A democratic process should never be allowed to be resulting into such casualties. If not, it doesn't give people reason to actually embrace democracy.
Wasn't that by way of the accident they were involved in?
Yeah, it was by way of that, but there were other incidents of there were some pockets of other violence during the election itself, which I'm sure you are aware, where even vehicles of some national officers were vandalized, etc. And so when the team met with the injured, they engaged with them and gave them some assurances and some form of little compensation, which may not be absolute for their injuries and all of that. But that is what has been the case. And today will be the crowning event, which will be a thank you rally, also in Breku, that is aimed at thanking God for all that happened, and that in it all, the people were resolved and they were very definite in what they intend doing for the party, knowing that James Jachi Kwesin was the rightful person, and also trying to directly tell the president that his statements when he came to campaign there were not only reckless, needless, and irresponsible, and very shallow, but also prejudicial. And they were not ready to listen to what he was saying to them at the time of campaign.
So today, we know that the flag bearer, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, is there. Who and who are with him?
The leader of the minority, Honorable Ato Forson, is there. The MP himself is there. The flag bearer, John Mahama, with his running mates are there. We also have some national officers, especially the communications officer, Sami Jemfi, also there, and all other dignitaries. There are some regional officers as well who have joined in. The regional chairman and his executives are also there. And a lot of party faithfuls have all thronged Assin North, Breku to be precise, to join in the thank you rally as the last approach to thanking the people for having faith with the NDC and with the candidates in particular, and making sure that they retain him as the chosen one by themselves.
Your flag bearer is also accusing the Electoral Commission of attempt to rig the 2024 elections. What sort of information are you picking that is probably informing your flag bearer to come to this conclusion that the EC is attempting to rig the elections?
It is not only the flag bearer who has been making this submission. You would agree with me. Not long ago, Professor Atuguba also made it very clear that this whole grand scheme of breaking the eight is not just mere sloganeering, and it is a scheme being worked out. However, President Mahama's submission was very succinct to lay out the fact that the EC's adamance in insisting on just making sure that the Ghana card will be the only source document to be acquired in order to get a voter's ID is aimed at deliberately disenfranchising people. You and I are very aware of the challenges the NIA is even confronted with in making available, printing out Ghana cards as we speak, or the NIA cards for citizens. And if people are not getting them, then various locations where they are supposed to get them. You and we may not see the problem that much because we are in the capital, we are in Accra. But if you go to Gini or you go to some village elsewhere where they have to even travel miles in order to just go and get the registration after the long queue and wait days, weeks, or even months before getting the hold of the Ghana card, it certainly cannot be made the only source document. It gives everybody reason to believe that so long as the Electoral Commission refuses to admit wisdom, refuse to actually heed good counsel, that this is aimed at actually some deliberate chaos. Avoid it. And they do not want to listen. It is just justified to have the absolute conclusion that there's a grand scheme aimed at disenfranchising people, because come to think of it, it is just very true that out there, the general populace are very angry because of the untold economic hardships, amongst other things. And therefore, the larger society out there would want to vote against the regime. And if that's going to happen, it is the opposition that will be the greatest beneficiary. So let's see how best we can disenfranchise more of these people. And that will be to the disadvantage of the opposition, the main opposition party, which I belong to, which John Dramani Mahama heads, which I believe that will be the next president come January 7, 2025.
Okay. But doesn't it give us the opportunity to ensure that the mechanisms that would help more people get access to their cards have been put in place to ensure that many of us are getting our cards to be in readiness to take part in these elections?
That is a very brilliant thing to say, my brother. But you would agree with me that the very architect of the process is not ready to put in any such measures. And it is not only about the Electoral Commission putting in measures. It is the NIA. And this is a state institution. And the state institution is currently being handled by a party in power. And so there can be some undue advantage, which will be given to one party right from the word go. And the NIA has actually told us of their challenges, the money challenges they are confronted with. But if you look at the money they spent in Assin North for campaign, they could have as well used that for this exercise. And this is not rocket science. You don't need to hold a PhD, a doctorate, a master's, etc. You just need to be appreciative of common reasons. That look, it would just not be proper when you have not put in the right measures to ensure that nobody is disenfranchised. Because come to think of it, if you deliberately, knowingly disenfranchise a citizen of his right to even register or to vote, it is tantamount to unlawful conduct. And that I believe that they can also take legal action.
Okay. Finally, James Dachikwesin will be going back to court. I know the party, all of you have had issues with this prosecution. What are your expectations as he heads back to court this week?
We are a party that believes in the rule of law. There is a general perception out there that our judiciary has become compromised and become political. We have seen documentaries that indicted them as well too. We only want to believe that if only due process, due diligence, and fairness is applied, James Jachikwesin would actually emerge victor, in the sense that he would actually be cleared of any charges, because we know for the evidence available to us and the facts as we have laid them bare to both the public and we know it ourselves, he has not committed a crime.
Okay. All right. Grateful to you, Elikem Kotoko, for joining us. He is a deputy national organizer of the NDC. Now, let's go back to our earlier story where the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, is alerting the Electoral Commission of the party's readiness to fight back electoral malpractices in the 2024 elections. He claims the EC is in a potential tangent to manipulate outcomes of the general elections. According to Mr. John Mahama, the Commission's new Ghana Card Identification Directive will deprive some Ghanaians of their right to vote. Clinton Yabua has more in this report.
Despite the opposition from sections of the populace, the Electoral Commission is proceeding with the use of the Ghana card for the compilation of the new voters register. This leaves non-Ghana card-bearing Ghanaian voters incapable to participate in the 2024 general elections. The flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress describes the new directive as unnecessary. John Mahama believes the NPP will fasten on the bendable EC leadership and activities to retain power.
The new patriotic party led by President Akufo-Addo has shown that they are prepared to resort to electoral manipulation through the pliant and partisan leadership of the Electoral Commission to hang on to power. It is our responsibility to give expression and manifestation to the desire of the Ghanaian people for change by remaining eternally vigilant and ensuring that the change is secured through democratic means and that no effort at undermining the change through rigging or other form of manipulation will succeed. It is in this light that we in the NDC wish to make clear that we will resist and prevent any sinister plot by the EC to manipulate the outcome of the 2024 elections, even before the first ballot is cast, through the needless and ununderstandable insistence on the Ghana card as the only means of registration. The EC remains intransigent and appears determined to make it difficult for sections of our population to have their names on the voters' register by restricting identification for that purpose to only the Ghana card, which, as we all know, is not available to all Ghanaians. The problems of our country are legion, and the failure of this government have been spectacular on all fronts. To the young people of Ghana represented here by the vibrant members of New Stain, I urge you not to lose hope.
The former president was speaking at the Alumni Connect of the Tertiary Education Institutions Network of NDC at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. The Alumni Connect mobilizes leaders of the NDC and mentor the young members of the party for active political engagement. This year's event was themed Empowering Teen, Unlocking Potentials, Building the Bridges of Change. The president of the association, Selma Yuda, is admonishing the party's youth wing to join the struggle to wrestle power from the NPP.
It's not only just about team, but also the youth in the country. Even if you are not a polling agent, you can mobilize people from your jurisdiction, wherever you live, wherever you work. You can preach the good word of the NDC, and you can preach the name of John Dramani Mahama, counting state.
Reporting for Joy News, Clinton Yabua.